everyone, I hope you're all doing well. If you are new here, my name is Danielle, the American expat mom of 3 living in Germany. Today's video is going to be a little bit like I'm rubbing it in. I apologize to all of my German followers, but I felt like it'd be a good opportunity to talk about England's victory last night, as well as just some of the overall pros that I think England has over Germany. As somebody who really fell in love with England, I love them both. I was voting for England last night, although keep in mind I don't actually know a lot about football. So yeah, the obvious first at something that England is better at than Germany, at least this year. I think that Germany has a history of being better than England at football, but this year it changed. Not gonna lie, I was definitely cheering them on when they hit the goals, and I feel like they were very polite players compared to the Germans, which was just so entertaining to watch. I don't think I've ever been so emotionally invested in a football game, because both Germany and England I hold close to my heart. So yeah, to celebrate you guys, I thought I would talk about some of the things that I think you guys do better than Germany, not just football-wise this year. So the first one was football, but the second one is I feel like you guys generally do patriotism a lot better. Now this could be a pro or a con depending on if you are a patriotic type or if you have a lot against countries doing such a thing. I think America probably takes the cake for being the most patriotic in the entire world. But I do think that England has a little bit more of a year-round edge. That's why else I do feel kind of bad for what happened yesterday, because I feel like the only time Germany really has to get patriotic, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I would have to say overall England, like year-round, definitely is a lot more into their culture, a lot more proud of their country. So it was a bit of a shame because I don't really know what this means for Germany, because I know so little about football. Maybe they still have a chance, but like football is a really big deal for them, and that's when they get to get really like all decked out, and people really do get all decked out here. So it's a bit of a shame if that's coming to an end, but maybe they have another chance. Let me know in the comments, because I probably won't watch any more football games from this point onwards. All right, next up is beaches. I do think that England has far more stunning coastline than Germany. Now, I have not actually been to any German beaches. I've looked a lot up on Google because I was looking for some staycations in Germany because it's so difficult to travel. So I've spent a lot of time on Google Maps, but I haven't really found anything quite as stunning as things that I've seen in Cornwall, or even, I would actually even say, the East Sussex area, and also Devon. I think that the coast in England is just far more breathtaking. I guess it's because it's more open and a little bit more wild, perhaps. I do believe that both coasts are pretty cold and windy, so I think that England's definitely probably going to have to win. Though I have seen a picture, there is a very similar looking coast, at least when it comes to East Sussex. So a very similar white cliff beach, like something like Dover, like when you arrive, there's something like that in Germany as well, so there are some similarities. But I mean, like overall, like from what I can see, England definitely wins beach-wise. Next up is architecture. Now this one is very hard because it really just depends on your style as well. Also, Germany sadly lost a lot of its original architecture during the war. So it's actually quite a sad story, and that's why we do have quite a lot of ugly cities. I feel like smaller suburban towns can be actually quite ugly, like the buildings built in the, I believe, 70s, 80s, just not the prettiest. However, luckily for Munich, even though most of it was completely abolished, they did decide to rebuild as it was, thankfully, because it's absolutely stunning and gorgeous, and I can't imagine Munich any other way. For me, nothing beats a cute little English cottage with a beautiful English rose garden. The villages are stunning, the rolling hills are stunning. Apparently some of Germany's landscape even got destroyed. It was actually a little bit more hilly. I believe that England just has a more natural, rustic feel. I prefer the cemeteries, I prefer the churches. I do really like it in Germany, and everything pretty much beats what I grew up to in California when it comes to my suburban towns. I grew up in Concord, and downtown Concord is just I mean, California's got beautiful landscape, but I'm not a huge fan of the like American architecture. Some people are, everybody's got a different style, but England really stole my heart, like when it comes to the landscape, the architecture, and the villages, the Shire-like feel, just love it. Next up is historical sites. Now, Germany has tons of historical sites. The only reason I'm choosing England over Germany is one, because I just tend to like the architecture and the history a little bit more. Also, I have a lot of ancestors who are English, so I think that's why else I have this like pull to England, and I'm just really passionate about it. While we were there visiting the Stonehenge, there's like a whole program. You can buy like a year-long pass that takes you to a whole bunch of historical sites. So many different kinds of castles. I believe the Lewis Castle, which we also were. I'm definitely really into the Neolithic period historical sites as well. I also found the historical sites to just be a lot of fun. Also for kids, they always had something for the kids to do. Like when we would go to the castles, they would have like so many like virtual things and so many interactive like puppets and dummies, and really scary ones too even, and like dress up for the kids, or like scavenger hunts for the kids. And I just think you guys really do it well, and it's very clear that you care a lot about your history. Speaking of child friendly, this is going to be kind of controversial, I feel like, but I do feel like England, because I have so many people I communicate with over there, I do feel like England has handled making the pandemic a little bit easier on the littles than Germany has. Now, I feel like in Germany, there's just like this overwhelming, especially once they start school, there's this overwhelming push to make the kids very independent and robust. Whereas I feel like, I don't know this for sure, but this is the vibe I get, it's a little bit more nurturing and maybe more attachment parenting-ish, at least in the primary school years. So in the primary schools in England, there hasn't been any mask mandates. There has been some social distancing, which is, you know, it is what it is. Also, it depends on probably the area, but no like mandatory testing. In our area, they were having the kids give themselves nasal tests, which I just think is pure dangerous and just taking it too far. So our kids have been wearing masks for like basically the whole year, apart from when we were homeschooling. I think that that's a really hard way to go to school. I mean, going to school is hard enough when you have to social distance and you have to be separate from the classes, like they were separating all the classes, and then all day long you can't even see your teacher's face, you're muffled when you're trying to talk. It's been a bit of a mess, and I've definitely worried about it. There were some interesting articles I was reading about 7 in 10 children this year worldwide have sought out seeing a psychologist, because I'm pretty sure this year has been really hard on the littles, and it's very hard for kids of primary school age to understand without getting severely freaked out, I think, by what's going on. And some of them don't really care. I think it depends a lot on how freaked out the parents are. Like, we've been pretty open and honest with our kids about how we feel the situation is, and we know that it's not really a threat to them. From the looks of it, it looks like England has been quite a bit more laid back on the littles, which I can definitely appreciate. Everybody's gonna have a different preference. Last one is also very individual, but as an American, I do find that the English culture, just the overall vibe and the way people communicate with each other, is just a lot more similar. Germany definitely has its quirks that can be a little bit difficult for Americans to understand at first. At the end of the day, I married a German, so obviously I like Germans quite a bit since I married one, so it just takes a little bit of time to like get them to warm up to you sometimes, but once you do, they're like really cute and fuzzy and like the sweetest people ever. It's just they have a little bit of a harder exterior shell. But that being said, I do tend to vibe a lot easier with people from England, at least a lot faster. So that is all. I hope that this video wasn't too annoying for people in Germany who are big fans. I saw a little girl from Germany like really crying on the screen, and I was like, oh my god, now I feel bad. People take their football very seriously, as it turns out, but I am really happy for England. Germany has won quite a lot in the past, so I think it's kind of a nice change, and I feel like after watching the game, it was very well earned, and it was like the first time I ever got into football. So at the end of the day, I'm just saying that I'm really happy for you guys, and this video is for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Even if you were voting for Germany, please don't give me a thumbs down for that. I feel like I might. People take their football very seriously. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day, and I will see you guys in my next one.